let's get right to work because I got to tell you, I am not surprised at all about the NCAA tournament. And again, I know you hate the SEC. I know everybody hates the SEC, but there's a reason right here on this show. 10 days ago, I guess now, we told you that the SEC was going to have 3 teams in the Final Four. Now we got close. Obviously, they have 2. I said 3. I thought Bama would beat Duke. Duke is Duke.
Program.
Duke is Duke. What do I know, right? But they still have 2 with Duke and Houston. And I guess the question is, are you surprised that the SEC has had a historic run through this NCAA tournament? I think SEC basketball by far was the best league in the country. I think when you look at these 4 teams remaining, I think you can make a real strong case for Auburn or Florida. I would sit here and tell you I think it's Cooper Flagg and Duke because at this level, one player can absolutely take over a game. But I think it's fascinating to look at 2 SEC teams on one side, Duke and Houston on the other side. Who can doubt Houston with that unbelievable defense that they play? But anyway you slice it, Jake, I think the SEC had a historic run through this tournament.
Absolutely, and I think it's just playing the percentages. I mean, you there was so much talk about how the SEC had more teams in the tournament this year than any other conference, and so what are we talking about in the end? The SEC having a great tournament, and that's really what it's about. And I think that whether we're talking football, whether we're talking basketball, the SEC plays this sort of strategy and this formula where it's like, hey, if we've got 1 million teams in contention, that should allow us to have a bunch more teams than everyone else actually get in. And that's what I think is different from other conferences. And, SEC homers are going to tell you that, it's just more competitive. It's just better. All the SEC homerism comes out. But I ultimately, I really do think that a lot of these teams really are just more battle tested because they play tougher opposition. And I know that sucks, but that's what we've seen play out. I mean, I don't know how we get away from that. And yes, I love Houston's chances. The out of bounds play to go ahead and win a ball game, the defense, obviously, the different ways they can beat you offensively is awesome. So I think the Big-12 has a great shot. But the reality of the situation is that this Final Four, you may hate it, and just because it doesn't have a Cinderella, people are despising it and hating on it, but it's going to be one of the best Final Fours that we've had in recent memory. I mean, let's not forget about FAU and San Diego State several years ago, and nobody cared about that. Now we actually have a great Final Four, and here we are, and people are still complaining.
Yeah, and a lot of people are watching. I think a lot of people are engaged. If you're a Texas Tech fan, you should be pissed.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that Texas blew that game. And I think this whole conversation around the SEC, I think this right here is a huge question. Who needs this win most? And I absolutely am telling you, it's the ACC. I think the ACC is an afterthought in basketball somehow. That's how quickly the landscape has changed. I think the ACC needs this win even more than the Big-12 does, which is shocking. But if Duke doesn't win this tournament, Jake, you made an outlandish statement in the vaunted pre-show meeting.
I know.
This tournament's a disaster for them if Duke doesn't win.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ACC has nowhere to go if Duke doesn't win this tournament. I mean, obviously, you're getting these shares because you're winning some games and going, on a run here with one team. But we all know that the finances in college athletics come from having multiple teams making multiple deep runs, which is why it's such a crying shame that Texas Tech let Florida off the hook, and Texas Tech allowed Florida to go on a 14-2 run to end that game. I mean, that's just unacceptable. It's not good enough. And that was, I'm watching that game and I'm like, yeah, dude, Texas Tech has them. They've got them in the physicality department. Florida's not shooting it real great tonight. Yeah. They were in a great position. And then, they essentially fumbled it. There's no other way to say it. And so I look at whether it's Texas Tech, whether it's Duke in the ACC, anytime you have an opportunity to close a team out and you don't do it, and then your conference pays the price, that's not great. And so it's awesome that Texas Tech got here. But, as usual, if you're a Texas Tech fan, you're feeling a little disappointed about how this season ended. I mean, at least with BYU or other teams, if you got blown out and you just got beat by a better team, you can at least live with that. This is Texas Tech saying, yeah, we were the better team that night, and we just didn't execute, and we gave it to them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know how you fix it. I don't. I think it's really unfortunate for Texas Tech because, man, the fans were into it. The fans were engaged. But I also think the hard part of that is the SEC went and won that game. And I think when we start looking at this, the original question of why you hate the SEC, I think you hate the SEC because they're good. But I absolutely think the ACC needs this win from Duke. And I think Cooper Flagg is sensational. I don't think there is any doubt that Coop and the Poop and Duke are, I think Cooper Flagg's the best player in the country. I think I could make an argument if he were in the NBA today, he'd probably be a top 20 player in the NBA right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's that talented. But I look at Houston and I say to myself, is this not a slap in the face that it's 5.5 points?
Mm-hmm.
Duke is a 5.5 point favorite in this game. And it's, I don't know, is that insulting? Is that, I don't know what it is. Houston's earned better than 5.5 points to Duke, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing is too, like coming off of the Alabama game where, you look at the box score and it's like, oh, well, Duke won that game going away, didn't they? Well, yeah, sure they did in the box score, but you look at Cooper Flagg's performance and it's not like he was really scintillating in that game. It wasn't really until, the last probably 10 minutes where he really started to kind of impose his will. Like there were multiple times where he turned it over. There were multiple times where Duke looked a little clunky on offense. He wasn't shooting it well. Like people were making fun of him for that jumper that he hit that he took at the elbow that got stuck between the rim and the backboard. Like it just wasn't great. And I think, I look at the 5.5 point number and I'm sitting here saying like, yeah, on one hand, you would think Cooper Flagg is going to bounce back. You would think that Duke is going to, kind of bounce back as a team and have a much better performance, one that's much more fluid and more like them. But was it them or was it, Alabama's ability to play good defense and cause problems? Because I was watching from an Alabama fan's perspective, and I felt like Alabama was doing everything they needed to do to be disruptive defensively. And that's you look at Houston, and Houston's probably, time and a half as good on defense as Alabama is. I mean,
I would agree with that.
Houston's elite, like defensively, and Cooper Flagg's not going to get
suffocating.
Yeah, Cooper Flagg's not going to get some awesome matchup in this game consistently. Like, Houston's got length, they've got athleticism, they've got speed, and they're dynamic as a team. Team defense covering ground on the floor is really good. So is 5.5 disrespectful?
I think it is.
I mean, it's if you don't think it's if you're someone who doesn't think that that's disrespectful, it's certainly borderline disrespectful. It's certainly pushing it. And for me, I do think it's disrespectful. I would have had that line at like 3, 4 at most. Like,
I feel like 2.5's the number.
Yeah.
I mean, and listen, I understand. The boys in Vegas set lines to get us idiots to bet on it, right?
Yeah, they got to make bread. We understand this.
I understand. I think it's incredibly, incredibly insulting that this line's at 5.5. It is. That's way too much.
But maybe on the flip side of it, to your point, if you're the boys in Vegas, are you not counting on a bunch of money coming in on Houston to cover that? Right?
I mean, I would think so.
Is that why you set a pretty big line there? Because you're counting on the Houston contingent to come in and have an emotional response. Like, that's why I say, like, I don't know that it's as much about, hey, Duke is just way better than it is about, making money. And I think that Houston can definitely beat Duke. I am still waiting for the signature game from Cooper Flagg that really cements him as just a savage in the tournament, because I don't feel like we've quite had that yet. He's had some good games. He's had a bad game. He had the game where he got hurt, obviously, earlier on. Like he's been through some things. But when is the game where Cooper Flagg, goes out and wins it for Duke and dominates? I don't think that's happening against Houston.
I'm telling you, if Houston wants to win this game, it needs to be a fist fight. It needs to be a half-court game. You cannot let Cooper Flagg, and I don't know, is Cooper Flagg just so elite? Or are teams just so bad defensively, you're just letting him stroll into fast break three-pointers from the top of the key again? And I'm asking, why is that happening? Houston can't allow that to happen, and I don't think they will. But they absolutely have to break this down into a possession-by-possession game, and you have to force Duke to play big basketball, because I think if you make them play inside, I think they're going to struggle more than they would like. And I think Houston can make them uncomfortable, but we'll see what happens. I think this is a must win for Duke in the ACC conference. I don't know any other way that you can continue to compete in recruiting and NIL and portal alone unless you win a championship in ACC basketball.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be a program that can say, hey, we've won a championship in college basketball recently. Recently being, I would say, you have to have your current coach, and it has to be within the last 5 seasons. That, to me, is recently. I think kids understand that funding and NIL efforts play a huge role. And I also think, to the point of with Duke and recruiting, kids are also going to say, yeah, Cooper Flagg, 6'9", he's a unicorn physically. The athleticism he has is not who I am. So maybe is that maybe you're a fit for Duke or not? I don't know, but I think that John Shire and company need to go out and get the job done. And I think when you ask about why Cooper Flagg seemingly has a lot of open looks from 3 in transition, I think it's because teams are selling out to force him to shoot from 25 feet as opposed to 3 feet. And if he makes it, you're just living with it. And the difference is I think Houston's quality enough to run with Cooper Flagg and make his life difficult.
If I'm Duke, obviously you got to handle your business against Houston. But aren't you rooting for Florida to beat Auburn? If you're Duke, and then because you can play. I think Duke matches up very well with Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's going to be very interesting to see what that championship game looks like, and whether it is. I think it's going to be Houston. I'm going to take Houston. I'm just going to go on a limb now. I think they're going to muck up that game. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be elbows and knees. And I think that's how you beat Duke. You can't let them play free-flowing, mercurial basketball.
Right.
Where Cooper's mom is jumping up and down. And
the rack attack.
Yeah, can't have it. You can't have it. And I think if you allow Cooper Flagg to play the way that he's played in this tournament, you're asking to get beat because they're 35, and you understand they've won 35 games now. Duke has won 30. I said 35. They're 35.
And I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
I mean, come on. And Alabama was never in that game. Alabama absolutely got annihilated in both halves. I don't know how you explain it. Obviously, they were ice cold. Did they make a 3 after the BYU game?
No.
I don't believe that they made a single 3.
Alabama set a 3-point record against BYU. Yeah, it turns out that probably wasn't the best thing for him, was it?
You're such a red ass.
Just saying.
You're such a red ass. Then I don't know what to say about Florida beating Texas Tech. If any of you tortilla throwers want to come in here and get in the comment section and let your feelings out. We're here. I'm a good listener. Come in, Lubbock.
Come in here and admit that your team just executed one of the biggest choke jobs we've seen coming down the stretch of a game, dude.
Well, let's talk about it. I'm a good listener.
I'm stunned. As I am stunned that Auburn absolutely dismantled the Big Ten in this tournament by beating Michigan and Michigan State. And Michigan had that game won, and then they absolutely stopped playing basketball.
Well, I mean, I think it was just too many cheeseburgers at the half. That's really,
Listen,
they were a little bogged down, and, that was really tough on them. And
my favorite food is chicken tendies and fries.
It happens.
I think the hard part is Danny Wolf was clearly looking for Matt Weiss's laptop. But anyway, the point, Matt Weiss's lap into the Michigan. Anyway, the point is, I thought at the half that Michigan had a real chance to win that game, and then Auburn just left them sitting still. So we'll see. I don't know how did you lose Michigan, Michigan State, and Purdue? Purdue.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
That's right, T.
Because the SEC's better.
Yeah.
That's how.
Yeah.
And I know people will hate that. All right, let's get into the comment section here on the Monty Show. Matt Ritson, hello. Let's see. Jaron Eccles. Hello, Jaron Eccles. So happy about the time change. Finally get to be in on the conversation again. Good to see you. Old Greg says, cheers and let's enjoy the afternoon breeze we call Marty and Two Shakes. Exactly right. Welcome to the nightmare. Hello. Capazzo, smash the like button. Yes.
Yeah.
Please smash the like button. Capazzo also says, send Jake a screenshot that could turn him into a bad thing. Yeah. Let's not weiss this thing up, okay? Just Venmo screenshot, send it to Jake. Weiss it up. That's a couple of Weiss mentioned. Shouty. Cam Harrison, hello. Good to see you. Sergeant Green, my man. Damon Bolden. Afternoon, Damon. Love the afternoon time slot. Appreciate that. Shouty. Basketball used to be ACC and Duke and Carolina. Well,
yeah. And now it's not. Now it's changed.
Should just not talk about my fandom.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's embarrassing.
It is. North Carolina was not a tournament team.
My word.
Right? They weren't.
Bubba.
And it's going to be a while. And Bubba absolutely ganked a tournament spot for Carolina.
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
We did what we did.
Steely says afternoon with Jake and Monty. He put your name first, Jake.
Wow.
Does he know you're a Michigan fan?
No, I'm not a Michigan fan.
You love Matt Weiss.
No.
The Jazz are in the pooper for Cooper. Indeed, they are. BYU football says the SEC didn't win. Texas Tech gave them the game with a cherry on top.
Yeah, seriously.
Texas Tech was way better than Florida that game.
And
until they weren't.
Gave it away, dude.
Until they weren't.
Yeah, man. Just gave it away.
I mean, you can't say, as you always correct me, you can't say they were better when they didn't win. Well, maybe there's something to that. Hey, look at that.
Well. Look who decided to show up and avoid the music.
Matt, Eric Wasikowski, the founder of the Matt Weiss Legal Defense Fund. Unfortunately, I'm rooting for Florida.
Oh, dude, I didn't know you were a Florida fan. Now, what happened to your boys in Michigan, dude?
And then Michigan State, who you were. Okay.
But your computer not work? Can't watch Michigan anymore? What happened?
Bro, Wasikowski, what the hell with the Pistons?
Yeah. What are we doing, dude?
Did you guys see this brawl with
Keep it real.
with old Detroit going malice at the Palace?
Like, what are we doing, man?
Look at this. The T-Wolves and the Pistons. And, of course, Stewart's right in the middle of it because he'll throw hands with anybody. This is from the seats. They're in the seats brawling, which is not surprising for a Pistons team. But when did DiVincenzo become like a badass? Dude, like throwing haymakers. Look at this.
Look at this.
Like, who does DiVincenzo think he is? It's unbelievable.
35 is
And
out.
Malik, the best part is Malik Beasley. If you guys watch number 5 for the Pistons, anyway.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Like, what is DiVincenzo doing? That's what yes, the bad boys are back.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
Right? That is, Steely. Oh, and I bet you, yo, bros. Hey, Boyd Lake. Good to see you. I was heartbroken. The Michigan lost. Oh, I'm sure
God.
you were,
dude.
The Buckeye tears rolling.
Gosh,
Steely is a huge Ohio State fan. Zapata. Good to see you, Zapata. Howdy from Harris County. Go Cougs. I think you're in good shape. I feel like I am probably the only one in the country who thinks this is 70-68 Houston wins. I think it's a low scoring, low possession.
Well, Houston knows they got to be nails defensively to be in it. Like you just have to be.
I think doesn't it have to be like a plodding, methodical game?
Less than 80 for either side.
Yeah, totally would agree. Totally would agree. Let's see. Matt Ritson, Stanford hires Frank Reich as its interim coach. Relationships make the world go round. Him and Andy Luck.
He is not going by Andy.
I heard somebody on sports radio call him Andy Luck.
Bro, it's Andrew Luck, dude. He's an Andrew, not an Andy.
Jaron Eccles, A-Rod gave a jersey to that kid that ended up at the bottom of the mosh pit. He did. That's dangerous. Look at this. You guys, this is This is serious. Like, look how physical it is against. This is like premium seating. And these guys are just throwing haymakers. Like, it's unbelievable. Watch DiVincenzo here. Watch him just come up.
We're going to chill. We're chilling.
Sitting out. What are we doing? Look at Beasley. Just standing there, Malik Beasley. Just like, okay.
Nah,
Idiots.
I'm fine.
That is, my God. I cannot tell you how dangerous that is. I have seen NBA fights when I covered the Lakers. I have seen NBA fights where a guy legitimately almost lost a finger.
They'll drop that money.
It is not safe on the sidelines of NBA games. Boyd Lake, the SEO king of America, shoves guys as they're getting pulled away. Soft. Yeah, soft person tendencies.
Hell yeah, it is. Dude.
Absolutely.
100% it is.
Capazzo, the Pistons game are getting better than a boxing match.
Ain't ducking no smoke.
They're not ducking any smoke. Lopes fan Gabe, Little Lope has a perfect Elite Eight and Final Four. If Florida drops Auburn, he wins the first March Madness pool he's ever entered.
That's right.
Go Gators.
Okay.
Well, I think we're all riding Gators now, aren't we?
Okay.
Absolutely. BYU football says Houston's 30-1 since conference play started. 30-1.
Dude.
That's elite play in the Big 12's best conference of college basketball. The SEC is the best conference of college basketball.
Sorry, bro.
With all due respect. Not respect. Respect. With all due respect. I think the Big 12 second. I think
With all due respect,
they're second. But the SEC's, I think, the superior conference. Damon Bolden, what are your thoughts on the denial of spring games between Colorado and Syracuse? I don't think you should be playing spring games. I don't. I have no problem with it. I don't think you should.
Yeah.
Play spring games. Gabriel, watch Silver suspend some people for 2 games. Really, seriously. We'll talk a big hour of NBA coming up. Bros, we're here for 4 hours. We got room to stretch our legs.
Now, we got some runway now.
In the comments section, let's predict some games. Way too early. Obviously, it's Monday. Duke, Houston. Duke, again, this number is ridiculous. 5.5.
It's ridiculous.
Duke, Houston, Final Four, Saturday, the late game, 8:49 Eastern. I like Houston 70-68. I think Houston, at this point, calling it an upset feels like an insult. I've got Houston taking out Duke.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really reasonable pick. I mean, I do think Houston's the best defensive team Duke will have seen. I think that Houston has proven to be a really crafty team, a really savvy team.
Okay.
Really good in the moment and identifying the situation. So, I mean, yeah, it is early, but I would have no problem saying that Houston pulls an upset.
Is it an upset if they win?
Yes.
No,
it is.
You were doing so well.
It is an upset.
They're
a 5.5 point dog, dude.
You were doing so well.
The shit's going good.
And everything was fine. And then you start talking about upsets. And
That's bullshit.
I just don't understand why you do stuff like that.
No redos.
I mean, it is what it is, dude.
It's an insult. It is an insult to Houston. Am I the only one that thinks that? Am I making too much of this? I think it is insulting. If Houston wins this game, everybody's going to be like, upset of the century. No, it's not. No, it's not. Houston's been one of the best teams in the country all season long.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. Duke's 35-3. I totally
So-called experts.
Yeah, so-called losers. I totally get it. I would remind you that Houston's 34-4.
Gotta be America's team.
I said Duke is 35-3. Houston is 34-4. You and your stupid Harbaugh drops. Gotta be America's team, bro.
And then to add insult to injury, you pull up Prize Picks. They've got 15 different Cooper Flagg lines, dude. And please say dude's name right. Con Knipple. That's how you say his name. That's how he clarified.
I don't know what his nipples have to do with it.
So
but
can we just say his name the correct way, please?
Con Knaple. I'm all about it. I am all about Houston at 34-3, and I don't care what anybody says that defensive wizardry that Houston pulled out on Tennessee, which is a crime in some states, what Houston did to Tennessee is spectacular. That is what Houston is capable of. And you start looking at, I understand that Cooper Knab and Con Knipples is what everybody's all about on this show.
That's what they do.
Did he really clarify that it was Knipple?
Yes, he did.
Hey, bruh, how many Knipples
everyone
you got?
was saying Knaple. And he was like, no, dude, it's like the body part, Knipple.
Shut up. Like, just shut up. You did, look, nipple face, you did that to yourself.
Show up.
Right? Like, you cannot come on this show and call yourself a nipple and think that you're gonna get away.
Why don't you fuck off?
Yeah, like seriously, Marge. Like, you can't call yourself and then we got to look at Bill. And then we got to look at Bill because Con's Knipples.
Yeah,
thanks for clarifying, Nips.
Yeah.
I'm still a human.
No, you're not. You're a nipple. And nipples are not human, and they don't have feelings. They do have a lot of feelings. Actually.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Anyway, the different show.
Just saying.
He really said the body part.
Like the body part. Yes.
I thought you went to Duke. Like, what do we... Anyway, okay. It's fine.
F around and find out.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. I'm fine with it. BYU football says we'll see next Monday. We will. Gabriel, 4-hour show now. Sheesh, yeah. That's right. Shouty's got Houston. I'm with you on that. Taking Houston in an upset. See...
See what he did there?
That's not nice. Primetime big raise for another 5 years at Colorado.
Yep.
Earned every penny of it.
Yep.
Telling you, you got to give credit where credit's due. Deion Sanders has transformed that program. Gabriel, I also got Houston winning. I would assume since you're in Harris County, you have no other choice.
You're a homer
Echoes.
is the first part.
Exactly. For the Big 12 sake, I hope Houston wins. I think it's critical. I think it's more critical for the ACC that Duke win that game.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody recognizes the Big 12 is a quality conference, right? I think that's universally believed in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of questions about what quality and depth you have in the ACC in basketball, because Carolina is not Carolina anymore. Let's call it what it is.
It's facts.
They're not what they used to be. So I'm going to be very interested to see what that looks like. I don't know. We'll see. BYU football, 34-4 in the worst conference, the ACC. Houston is on a mission and beat Duke by 5 and beats Duke by 5.
But let's not sit here and I don't disagree the ACC is soft. There's no question about it. But let's not sit here and pretend like if Duke was in the Big 12, they wouldn't be a 34-win team, dude.
Duke is Duke.
Duke is that good. Like, there's no doubt about it.
I think I would agree with that. Boyd Lake says, go Houston. Areola talk for the win. Good old Nips and Duke.
Smiles and glory holes.
Bro, you're never getting away from that. And why do we not have that soundbite on the show?
Because I forgot about it.
I mean, that's...
And then it just came up when I thought of his name.
Matt Weiss is... No, I'll... Are you not going to comment on Matt Weiss?
The president of the Matt Weiss fan club?
How are you here and you haven't commented on? Notice he was not here the other day.
No, but he was more than happy to be in our replay.
Oh, was he really?
Oh, yeah. He was in. His take is that he's got to wait for all the facts to come out, and then he's gonna make a determination.
Did you hear what John Harbaugh said?
Dude,
he's not waiting for the facts. Duke versus Florida. Duke is Duke. Okay, I like that. And then Florida Auburn. I think it's Auburn.
Yeah.
I think it's Auburn.
I think Auburn's going to punish them physically.
I think it's Auburn every day.
Mm-hmm.
I think Auburn is simply a better team. I think Auburn has an attitude problem, and I think they don't mind showing you. But can we stop saying that it was a Willis Reed moment? Like, it was not a Willis Reed moment. Florida Auburn, to me, is one of the most entertaining, almost the most entertaining game you could have. If it had been Bama Auburn,
mm-hmm.
okay, maybe that's a little better. but I think it's one of the most entertaining games we could have gotten, frankly. And I am a hundo P here for it. And you look at, it's probably strong to say I didn't doubt Auburn could beat Michigan State because Tom Izzo is a stud.
It's still Tom Izzo, though.
But you look at what Johnny Broome means to Auburn, and you look at the way he balled out. He's the only guy on that squad that had a big day, right? And if you're going to win, Baker Mazzara is going to have to show up, I think, to win that game. I think you're going to have to get performances off your bench. But make no mistake about it, Johnny Broome is just as capable as Cooper Flagg carrying a basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
And he does it a little differently, obviously. But I think that Broome and Flagg are probably the two best individual players left in this tournament. But that whatever happened to Broome's elbow, it was not what happened to Willis Reed's knee. And we need to see, you don't even know who Willis Reed is, do you?
Nope.
Thank you. We need to stop saying that it's a little Willis Reed moment. No, it wasn't. It was not, but it was pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have on that side of the bracket?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that concerns me when I look at the matchup for Florida is Florida's a team that's got to shoot it well to win most ball games. You know, you look at the kind of game they played against Tech and didn't shoot it well. Everyone looks at Walter Clayton Jr.'s line and is like, oh, 30 points, 13 of 14. 3 of 8 from 3, 7 of 14 from the field.
Yeah, I would agree.
Everyone looks at that, but what really stands out to me is you were just not great from 3 overall as a team. And I think that the thing with playing Auburn is they're going to play that slower style. They're going to play the, half court, grind you out, get you in foul trouble, play the mind game with you style of basketball. And that's not Florida's game. That is not what Florida needs to be successful. Florida needs more, in my opinion, Florida needs a more free-flowing game. Doesn't necessarily have to be a track meet, but a more free-flowing game that really allows them to get out and find their rhythm from 3. And I just don't see that playing out against a team like Auburn that's physical and really wants to take it to you and get to the line. So for me, I would agree it's Auburn. I think Florida is a really good team, but you're playing the best of the best now, and the best of the best are not going to let you off the hook.
Yeah, unfortunately, for Lopes fan Gabe, I'm taking Auburn.
Yeah.
I am taking Auburn. I am taking Houston, and I think that is going to be one of the least enjoyable games to watch. Stylistically, that's a nightmare.
I mean, I think Florida is going to have to make 23s in that game to win that ball game. I think it's going to be they're going to need that type of performance.
Okay.
Like they were 9 of 24 from 3 against Tech. You're going to need to be, 18 of 30, 20 of 35, like you're going to need to shoot it really well, in my opinion.
Yep.
To get it done.
Wasikowski says, I must have missed that show because Khan went crazy. Yeah, he came in here and defended Matt Weiss's actions. So good luck with that. Boyd Lake, Houston and Auburn will be your final. I tend to lean that way.
Yeah.
I tend to lean that way too. Damian Fowler, I'll be a red ass of the show and pick Duke. Okay.
Someone's got to.
Okay.
Way to take one for the team and sacrifice.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Jeremiah Champion. Yay.
Yeah. How's the teaching going, dude?
Yeah. What's going on, dude? Is spring break over? Big Daddy Magic.
Oh, God.
Duke wins by 17.
Victor's the way.
I don't think that's the case. He says, hey, playa, Florida has good weather year round. Mrs. Monty won't even contemplate living in Florida. If I said, how about we move to Jupe, I do think that she would divorce me.
Boom. Out of here.
I'm like, done.
You're filling in for somebody.
She'll take my fish tank and leave. I'm telling you right now. I would move to, I think I would try to live in Florida for a year easily. She used to say, you can go and live anywhere for 5 years. And then we did a nickel upstate in Arizona, and that's all changed.
Yeah.
now.
Can we get a shack on the golf course in Jupe?
That's all changed now. You live in Arizona for 5 years, it does something to you because you're in the hole 24/7 in Arizona. Probably shouldn't keep making prison references. Speaking of prison, giggity. Hey, guys, the afternoon looks good on you.
Yeah. It's nice to be awake doing the show. That's kind of cool.
Not really sure why I said prison and giggity, but good to see you. I'm talking about Auburn because Michigan State and Florida are very similar. Auburn going to out physical Florida. I agree.
Yeah.
Auburn, let's just be real clear. Auburn, Houston will not be an entertaining. If you want people to watch, a lot of people to watch the final next Monday, a week from today, you want Florida and Duke.
Duke has to be in there either way.
You want Florida and Duke. If you want the two best teams, it's Auburn and Houston. And I think, bros, that I don't even know how you pick that game.
Big-12 needs to win a championship so bad, dude.
I don't even know how you pick that game. I'm telling you. Let's see. Damian Fowler, these two teams are very similar, are so similar with each other. Anything can happen in this game. Take records and how they played the last two games out of it. You're not wrong about that. I would agree. John Hamm. Duke makes winning big look easy. Well, and I think that's an intangible. Cooper Flagg is one of the few players in this tournament, like he's never had like a shaky moment. I've never looked at Cooper Flagg playing in this tournament and been like, ooh, the moment's too big. When you play in the NBA and you go to NBA Summer League and you play with Chris Brickley and his runs over the summer with NBA guys and you dominate.
Yeah.
You go to the pre-Olympic camp and you dominate as a teenager and you dominate. It's awfully hard to be like, yeah, man, this NCAA tournament, I'm not sure I can handle it. I'm going to say he can handle it.
Yeah.
And when he's playing for the San Antonio Spurs next year, I'm going to say he can handle it.
Man, that just is so bad. I hate it so much.
Would that not be the nightmare if Big Daddy Magic got both Victor Wembanyama and Cooper's Flagg on his team? Oh my goodness,
dude! I don't, you know.
When I die, I'm going to paradise.
Yeah, you would be dead already.
I don't even know. Like, yeah, I'm not sure that dude would be among us anymore.
So wait, have we settled the conversation of, hey, yeah, he's going to the NBA, right? Like, I think we all agree.
No question, dude.
The pooper is taking his
Buddy's going to get a paycheck.
Cooper's taking his pooper to the NBA.
Yeah, he's going to plant the flag and do his thing.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to the NBA.
I just don't know why you wouldn't,
especially after that near miss with the ankle injury.
Yeah, you got to get on with it, bro.
Yeah, I think and there's no question he's the best player in college basketball.
And he's still young.
He's the number one
25.
Wasikowski, 3 months living in Florida, and I already look Hispanic.
What are we doing, bro? Like, see, you say stuff like that. This is like your third comment, and you're already rolling out this kind of stuff.
All I needed you to put there, like right before you read that or wrote that comment, you just put, "I'm not a racist, but, comma, 3 months living."
Bro,
gotta tell you, I look like them Latinos.
What are we doing, man? How do you comment something like that, bro? And then you wonder and are surprised why YouTube filters you.
You're just
come on.
The best part about it is he's like, oh yeah, I already look like one of them Hispanics. Like that's who you are, man. What?
We get it. You have a red hat on. We understand.
Oh my God. I walked into my classroom and saw someone had somehow left a quote D's nuts joke on paper on a desk. So wait, you're saying that jackassery in the comment section is not relegated to mornings? Hey, I'm Mr. Champion. Hey, Mr. Champion, welcome back. These nuts.
I'm so bricked up right now.
Welcome them back. Come on, Mr. Champion. Welcome these nuts back.
Dude.
Oh, that's amazing. Cooper would look awful nice in jazz purple.
Yeah, that ain't happening. I know that Danny's big game hunting, though,
I'd love to put him on the 15 and under team but no. Put him on the Lakers.
Jackass.
Shouty, shake my head. Exactly right. Cooper Flagg is a pro NBA player playing in a tournament for Duke. He's not coming back next year. Why would you? Capazzo, Wasikowski, you must tan really well, apparently. Jackassery is much better when you're awake in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You're much more of a jackass when you're actually awake.
Yes.
And the synapses are all firing. John Hamm, Eric, my uncle has lived in Texas for over 20 years from Ohio, and I always tell him he looks like Border Patrol may mistake him for jumping the fence.
Stop. God. Dude.
Ain't no reset.
What are we doing today? Like,
Oh my God.
You just have to snap out of it a little bit.
Jumping the fence. Jeremiah, the fact that that's not even too far off from how some of these students say hello to me. Hey, champion.
Hey,
These
no,
nuts.
it's just champ.
Hey, champ.
Hey, champ.
Hey, look, it's champ. These nuts. Okay. Brandon Butler. Ow, man. I just want to have a reason to actually watch a local team. That'd be nice, right? Oh, Utah Hockey Club going to the playoffs.
Yeah, we're only 10 points out of it, guys.
I thank you, all the Utah hockey fans who were on Twitter the other night torching me over the Blackhawks. If your feather in your cap is beating the Blackhawks, that's not much of a cap. Anyway, I'm pretty sure the comment section will even be more red ass. I'm sure it will. Oh God, Big Daddy Magic, Team Victory Flag. Flag will be beloved sidekick. Okay. You know, I don't hate it. I really don't.
Okay.
Simon, Houston versus Auburn.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the most entertaining game in the world. That is not
It's going to be better than some of
be.
the other ones we've had.
But again, I just ask, how is Florida favored in this game?
Got to make money. That's how. That's the only way.
It's a
Anyone
little surprising.
Who watches basketball is not favoring Florida in that game.
Yeah, it's a little surprising to me. That is, I mean,
I just think it's, it's a game that is poster child team that everyone knows and loves in Florida, and then a team in Auburn that I feel like most college basketball fans know is really good and has a track record, but maybe your casual doesn't know as much about. That's the crazy part about Auburn.
Brandon Butler, thoughts on the Millers maybe buying RSL? Yeah, I saw that. But wait, Ryan Smith owns RSL, and they're going to win championships, and apparently not. Did you guys see that story? That if you're one of our Utahns, the Larry H. Miller family is going to. It's pretty much a done deal from what I've seen. Is going to buy a controlling share of Real Salt Lake. The current owner is going to remain as an owner, but no thoughts, no answers about what happens to the minority share.
Yeah.
I think it is, listen, very gently, I'm a huge soccer fan. It's not even on the radar in most of Salt Lake City, if we're being honest. And they have a great stadium. They're in a great location. I hope that they invest and they win. That's what I hope. It is, again, since we had the forced ownership change, and which is really unfortunate, club's never been the same. So I actually think it'll be good for RSL. I do think it'll be good for RSL, in my opinion. All right. The Monty Show back in afternoons. What are you taking? What's your favorite Cooper Flagg prize pick here?
Let's see here. Let me get this back up. I really like 23.5 points and assists. That's pretty much a gimme.
That's a gimme.
31.5 points, rebounds, and assists also feels like a gimme, but I think that, playing Houston, the problem is going to be output overall. You're playing a defensive team, and
you do have to put out.
Yeah. So if you're trying to get in the pooper for Cooper, taking a top end pick like that's probably risky. But 12.5 rebounds and assists also feels very attainable.
You got to go points, rebounds, and assists.
I just think it's too much. I think it's too much.
You do?
I do. I think points and assists at 23.5 is totally reasonable. Cooper Flagg is a playmaker. He, obviously he's on the ball constantly.
Nipples is only 2.5 assists.
Yeah. But see, that's the problem. He's on the other side of that. Flagg's feeding Nipples, and it's not the other way around.
Yeah, I think I am going to go points, rebounds, and assists for sure.
I think you got to go points, either points, rebounds, and assists, or points and assists with Flagg. If you're not going to take Cooper Flagg, if you want an alternate one, Proctor is the guy that I'd go to. This is a big game. They're going to need him. He knows they need him. 12.5 points out of Proctor. That's kind of a gimme, in my opinion, for a guy that shoots the three that well. So, I mean, that to me, and then, of course, you have the Goblins for Cooper Flagg, 6.5 rebounds.
34.5 points, rebounds, and assists, which he's only done one time.
So,
but then again, he missed. He 31.5. He did Baylor and Arizona, but then he ran into a really good Alabama defensive club and did not. He only put up 28.
I would go points and assists with Cooper Flagg.
His double demon is 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah.
I think I'm comfortable taking him at 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I think I'm fine with that. The big one for me is LJ Cryer at 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah.
He has not had the best tournament. He missed against Purdue, but hit against Gonzaga. It's Gonzaga.
Monty.
Please don't
Monty.
at me. Gonzaga in Tennessee. I'm going to take him more on that. And then I think there's some big numbers like Walter Clayton Jr. What about Broom's rebounds? Like that might be one that you go Johnny Broom 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
And I think you can go
look
more.
But look at his points, rebounds, assists numbers, 30.5. I mean, he should have that against a Florida team.
Yeah, I'm going to go more on rebound. I'm going to go 11.5 demon rebounds.
By the way, I'm going. He had 39 points, rebounds, and assists against Michigan, and 41 against Michigan State.
You do you. I'm doing rebounds.
I'm taking him on a demon at 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists in that game. He's going to carry them.
Okay. Make sure you open up a new Prize Picks account. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5. Prize Picks will give you 50 more, which is, I mean, it's almost inarguable. That is the best. That is the best daily fantasy promo I think that we have ever seen. Hook it up. Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy partner of the Monty Show. Lamar Jackson, are you paying him $60 million a year? We'll talk about that next.
Yo, you think Dallas' Power 4 gonna drop 30 tomorrow?
Boy, you tripping.
Did you see his mom made a post about going to the game?
What? Hold up. His mama gonna be there?
He's been averaging like 34 points a game when she's there.
At least 40 when she be on that Jumbotron.
He don't like to let his mama down.
Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Cash in on your sports fandom with Prize Picks.
Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more at Prize Picks. Join the tens of millions of people using Prize Picks on a daily basis. The NCAA Tournament, the Final Four, obviously Major League Baseball. We have to talk about the New York Yankees and their bats.
Yeah, torpedoes.
But there's so much to love about Prize Picks. It's so easy to win. Hook it up. Download the Prize Picks app. Wow. Speaking of Major League Baseball, Jurickson Profar suspended 80 games for violating the MLB's PED policy, according to Jeff Passan, who says sources have confirmed to him at ESPN.
Who's he playing for, Padre?
The Atlanta Braves.
Braves.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow. That is massive for the Braves. He is a critical part of that. Wow. Well, there you go.
Man, it's so good to have baseball back, ain't it?
No, not really. A week from now, we'll be in Chicago. The Rangers will be there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that. A lot of content on the channel from Chicago next week.